Hello everyone, and welcome to Med Talk by Galloway-Sands Pharmacy. I'm Brad, the pharmacist here at Galloway-Sands Pharmacy, and today we're talking about something we see every single year like clockwork: cold and flu season.
Hi everyone, I'm Kassidy, a certified pharmacy technician here at Galloway-Sands Pharmacy. If you've been in the pharmacy any time between fall and winter, you already know. Tissues, cough syrup, and questions about that thing going around suddenly become very popular.
Very popular. So today we're breaking it all down: why we get colds and the flu, how they spread, what symptoms to watch for, and what actually helps versus what's just hype. Let's start with the cause. Both colds and the flu are caused by viruses, but they are caused by different families of viruses. The common cold is most frequently caused by rhinoviruses, though other viruses like coronaviruses and adenoviruses can also be involved. The flu, on the other hand, is caused specifically by influenza viruses, most commonly influenza A and B.
That distinction matters because it affects how severe symptoms can be and how we treat them.
Exactly. Influenza tends to cause more systemic illness, high fever, muscle aches, and significant fatigue, because it triggers a stronger inflammatory response in the body. Let's do it. So here's where a lot of people get tripped up: cold versus flu. They're both viruses, but they can look pretty different. Colds usually sneak in with a runny nose and a sore throat. Think mild stuff, though you might feel a bit crummy. The flu, though, it tends to knock you flat. Fever, headache, chills, body aches, and that sudden exhaustion. Not fun.
Right, like if you're thinking, did a truck just run me over? That could be the flu. But even then, it's easy to confuse it with things like allergies, especially when pollen's floating around. Brad, didn't you have someone come in thinking they had the flu and it turned out to be allergies?
Oh yeah, so I won't use any names, but we had a regular patient come in, just miserable, convinced it was the flu because of his runny nose and sneezing. Turns out it was a classic case of seasonal allergies. He was new to the area and didn't realize how rough the local pollen could be. Poor guy was bundled up at home for 3 days before he came to see us. And that's the thing. Sometimes self-assessing is tricky.
For sure. So, what would you say are the red flags? When should someone skip the home remedies and actually call their doctor?
Great point. If you're dealing with a high fever, severe fatigue, trouble breathing, or your symptoms just aren't getting better after a week, don't try to tough it out. And definitely reach out if it's for young kids, older adults, or folks with other health conditions. Sometimes it's just a cold, but sometimes it's not worth risking it.
Yeah, and even if you aren't sure, honestly, just give us a call or pop in. We'd rather talk through it with you than have you guessing at home. Alright, so let's talk about what actually helps once you do catch something. Brad, what are your go-tos for managing cold or flu symptoms? There are about 1 million products out there, but not all of them really deliver.
That's for sure. You've got your basic stuff: saline sprays for congestion, acetaminophen or ibuprofen for fever and aches, throat lozenges to help with soreness. A lot of folks swear by vitamin C or zinc, but honestly, the evidence is iffy. Maybe a tiny benefit, but don't expect them to be a cure. Fluids and rest really are your friends here.
And some folks come in asking for antibiotics, thinking they'll knock a cold right out. But that's just not how it works. Antibiotics only work on bacteria, not viruses. Believe me, everyone needs that reminder every single year. It's a myth that just won't die.
No kidding. One thing I always like to stress: if your symptoms get worse or you start to notice stuff like severe ear pain or sinus pressure that lasts, sometimes those are signs you might need something extra. But for most colds and the flu, it's supportive care only. And prevention, can't forget that. Hand washing, getting your flu shot early, staying home when you're feeling bad, it works.
Yep, I finally got my nephews, after like a year of pleading, to use hand sanitizer before they started grabbing dinner rolls at Thanksgiving. It was a win for Aunt Kassidy. Honestly, the little habits add up. If you can keep germs off your hands and out of your nose and mouth, you stand a much better chance.
I always say there's no shame in being the person who carries tissues and hand gel everywhere. A little prevention goes a long way, and you'll save yourself a lot of trouble in the end.
All right, folks, that pretty much wraps us up for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in, and remember, whenever you've got questions about what works, what's hype, or even what's just a good old wives' tale, we're always happy to help at Galloway-Sands Pharmacy. Brad, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Always happy to chat, Kassidy. Stay healthy out there, folks, and don't forget to wash those hands. We'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.